Okay guys, we're here today with new Melanson, huge honor for me as always. And guys, Neil just shot an entire instruction today all about arm triangles, and he's really good with that. So today he's gonna show us here one of his favorites, and I'm very excited to learn from him. Let's do it, Neil.
So I'm just gonna show Justin here, just doing an arm triangle one-handed. Just a good way to drill and master the concepts of the choke and how it functions as a strangle and not as a neck crank. And when you get really good at it, sometimes guys prefer it. They don't even like locking their hands. I feel good both ways on it. So definitely something to practice. Go away, my So what we're going to do is focus on a couple concepts. One is to make sure the crook of your bicep here, the crook in your elbow, I mean, is not on the carotid, that it's actually behind the neck a little bit. That way you get a proper squeeze. And we say don't let the crook rob you of your choke. And it's a good way to remember to put your bicep and everything in the right position on the neck. Okay, so that's the first principle there. You want to understand is to get that here. Okay, now this other hand here, I personally, whether I'm doing it two hands or I'm doing one, I'm always trying to put it under the back. It's kind of similar. I've seen people do it in gi. I learned the gi version from Leo Lecce, and I think he learned it from Fabio Gurgel. My memory's a little foggy, but I'd hate to teach it and not have one, you know. All right, so I'm grabbing right about the armpit. And even if you can't reach the armpit, it's okay, it will still work. Just get under the back here, okay? Now, my head position is gonna be key here. Where's the carotid? It's right here on the side of his neck, right there. So I don't wanna create pressure here because that just pushes the shoulder away from the neck. This is where a lot of people have problems. The choke is gonna come almost through the rear delt, and that's gonna go straight into that carotid, which is gonna give you the strangle that you're looking for. So by going here, it's really about where you put your head. If I'm up here, I'm gonna have problems. It's gonna turn kind of crankish. I wanna be here, more low against the lower delt, the back delt of the shoulder. So this hand now can be used to fight the legs or the post for balance. It's really how you wanna play it. I'm focusing on the choke itself rather than the setup, okay? So here, getting my head in position, okay? Now, the first thing you wanna do is create pressure, okay? I call it pressure choke. This is the first phase, is dropping that shoulder down like you're riding the head in like side mount or something. And you gotta keep that pressure down constant, okay? That's very important. So the way I look at it is when you perform a choke here, I'm trying to go through stages, and you want to make sure that you flip the hourglass on the choke early. You don't want to get into position and then squeeze, because then he's going to probably he probably would escape by then, and you're just going to have a loose choke. It's not going to be the same. So when you get this position, you want to drop it, and you're going to keep that tension the entire time, okay? You're not going to let that off. So don't let yourself get distracted by the movement, and then ease up on that. Keep that pressure downward, nice and strong, okay? All right, so get that position, get my head right, and I start to cut across. Now there's different ways to do it, but just protect your feet from the half guard, okay? Boom, okay? I get my post, my head's nice and low. My head is hooking now, and it's actually working for the strangle, okay? Now as I come out, pass, I like to keep a good base on the hip, and now I'm gonna flex, okay? It's very strong. When I flex, it's gonna feel like his head is gonna pop off, all right? Now I'll go to the other side. Here, get a good grip, okay? My head is here. Notice I'm hooking and squeezing the whole time. Drive cross, get my post. I like to keep the knee on the hip still, wide base, and flex. So most of the time, you'll put them to sleep before you get in position. but he'll straight tell you it's not a neck crank, it's a pure strangle. And for coaches, I definitely suggest you have your students, once they learn it, to drill it, because it makes using it two hands that much easier. And there's athletes I've trained in the past that don't even want two hands anymore. They like just the one-hander. They feel like they get a better result. So it's just a good method to learning to master the choke. And that's what this DVD is about. It's about learning to master the strangle, different ways into it, and fundamentals, and how to problem solve a strangle. So most chokes, head and arm chokes, triangle chokes of any sort, it's not just getting into it, it's learning to adjust. Because if you don't know how to adjust, you can't finish, and then what are we doing here, right? So everything always goes wrong a little bit. So you have to be able to adjust. So we spent a lot of time on that in the DVD. And if you don't have a good arm triangle, you're really missing out. I think it's a fundamental lock, if you ask me. It works great for grappling and MMA, okay? So if you're interested, that's what I definitely recommend you check it out. And you'll be able to learn all types of strangles and methods to learn it.
Well, and one thing I noticed is that you are 100% focused on the choke and never on the neck crank, right? Because many times I see people using this type of choke and they end up getting like neck crank. So you focus so much on the details to actually hit the neck.
Yeah.
That I bet it's like 100% choke instead of neck crank, right?
Yeah, I never hear guys say it's a crank. Sometimes I'll have I didn't set it up right, I did a bad job. I'm like, yeah.
So you focus more in the setup than actually in the pushing and the squeeze?
I do both. The setup, because he's not going to want me to choke him, and if he rolls with me a lot, he knows it's coming. So the setup's important, but the quality of the choke is very, very important.
I got it.
Because that's when he escapes, and then I might have just put myself in a worse position by going for it.
And then since the first grip, you're already thinking about like what you gotta do since the beginning in order to reach the neck and not like a neck crank or something.
Right. The big thing in this one-handed choke is, granted, yes, it's a real choke. You can go live and do it one-handed, but it's a fundamental to learn how to do it properly and learn how to just create a pressure choke, meaning like I can be here and he's here, so like I'm side mount and I can still, you can see how quick he tapped. That's a pressure choke. So there's really not a lot of difference between that and here. So now I have the benefit of using my neck. But when most people are up here and it turns to that crank, stay low, and you can see he's already tapped.
Yeah, guys, so this instruction that Neil is doing is all about the arm triangles. And in my opinion, don't know your opinion, but in my opinion, it's one of the best chokes in Jiu-Jitsu because,
I love it.
Especially for no-gi, and something that you can do from the mount as well. And from the mount, for example, no-gi is really hard to choke because there's no lapels, right?
Right.
So this is always there. So
yeah, and I can show, if we got a little more time, something about the mount.
Oh man, I would love to see it.
Yeah. So, because I'm with you, I love it from mount.
Yeah, okay. Man, there's no lapel, so.
And the big thing is learning how to use the legs. So I have grapevines here, and if I grapevine one leg, it's going to affect the rest of the body. So if I grapevine this leg, see how he naturally turns a little bit?
Right, sorry.
And then if I go to this leg, naturally turns a little bit.
Right, that's good.
So I'm going for my arm triangle here, and I suck in, I get here, and it's just not good. What I'll do is I'll use this leg, pull him up to push it in to make the adjustment.
Man, this is great.
And now this leg, and when I do the other leg, it turns him into the choke.
So you use one leg to fish and the other leg to adjust.
Yes.
Man, that's amazing.
And that's probably
I've never seen
the mount, and this is all on the DVD, of course.
Man, that's amazing. Poor Justin.
Yeah, he's a trooper.
So guys, very soon it's going to be at IBJJFanatics.com instruction all about the arm triangle choke. So make sure to check that out. Maybe by the time you're watching, it's already there. So thanks so much.
Thank you,
Justin. Awesome.
Yeah.
Please help me out to grow my YouTube channel. Just click subscribe. And to watch more videos, just click under see more videos. I hope you enjoyed.
BJJFanatics.com. Use the promo code YouTube Faria to get 10% off any instructional video. Improve your jiu-jitsu faster.